Alright, so this week I thought I'd go into perhaps getting a little bit more out of a layer mask by increasing or really enhancing the depth of field in this particular image here. So to do that, the first thing I need to do is actually make a duplicate of this layer. Just drag it down to the new layer icon there. Or you can simply press Command J or Control J and that'll duplicate the layer as well. With that duplicate active, simply go under the filter menu. We're going to go down to blur and go to Gaussian blur, and we want to give it a blur but not quite that much. That's 25. Let's try 5, and maybe let's go down to 3 and give it about a 3 pixel blur. And of course this number will vary depending on the resolution of your file. My image is relatively low res for the purpose of demonstration here, but be wary of that. A larger file will require a larger setting here. And I'll just hit OK. Then I'm going to create a layer mask. But now I want my layer mask to hide everything, and we're going to bring back parts of this effect. So when I go to activate a layer mask, I'm going to hold down my Alt or Option key, and that will add a layer mask to hide all. So when I do that, you can see that the image goes away because that layer mask is filled with black, hiding everything on this layer. So if I turn it on and off, you see no change because it is being masked away. We're going to bring parts of that back in with some white and some varying shades of gray. So to make that a little easier, I'm going to bring up my swatches palette. See that right here? And here we've got all these varying shades of gray up here, going from white all the way to black over here. And I want to make sure that I'm active on that layer mask. Then I'm going to get a paintbrush, making sure that we are painting with white. I'm going to use my right bracket key and increase my brush size. You can see it's going up in increments of 10 there. I'm going to hold down my Shift key and go and hit my left bracket, and that will soften up my brush, giving me a softer edge there. Now, as I said, with white selected, because we're going to be bringing areas back then, I'm going to use white because I want to bring back 100% of the blur all the way in that background. So I'm just going to brush in that blur into the background here, because it is really far away and it's really way back there, so it would be the most out of focus. The more narrow our depth of field is, the less in focus a lot of the surrounding elements are going to be. So we'll just do that a little bit there, just like that. So, and you can see in our layer mask what it's done. There's some white area in there. Now I'm going to get kind of a darker gray. Let's go with this. Is about a 50% gray here. And I'm just going to paint in this foreground area with that. Same size. Actually, I'm going to increase the size of the brush a little bit. But now I'm laying down half the pixels. I'm not laying down white. I'm laying down 50% gray, which is only revealing half of the effect, because it's only 50% transparent through the layer mask. So I'm lessening that blur effect. I'm not having to reapply a blur at a lesser setting. I'm simply revealing it a little bit less through a little bit darker brush on my layer mask. So you can see all I have to do is apply the effect to one layer, and then through the varying tones of my layer mask I can reveal it and get much more dramatic results. Just like that. And I could go in here and perhaps get an even darker brush and maybe make some parts of their body a little bit more out of focus. Because even as close as they are, there are some parts of them that would be closer to us than others, so they would perhaps be a tad out of focus as well. But you can see there's the original. You can see a subtle difference, but it's a big difference. Subtle but big. But there you can see I've only got 2 layers here. One's my original layer, and one's a blurred layer that is only being revealed through varying shades of gray here. If I Option click on that layer, that's all I've done. That's my layer mask with a little bit of gray in here in the foreground, the white, which is revealing all of it, and the black area, which is revealing the original image. So I Option or Alt click back on that layer mask. There you can see that result. So giving you a lot of freedom to really control how much of an effect you apply via a layer mask. So give it a try. We'll see you again.